So, welcome again. Thanks for coming just before Christmas time, which is pretty much hard for everyone, even after working hours. We have two presentations. I will have one part of it today with GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks, but more focusing on the business side of it. And we have Deshan here, luckily, who will show us a little bit more about using computer vision in the manufacturing context. We have a lot of discussions besides of what we do currently. So how we can go further as a community, as the AI Swiss. And I would like just to invite you to bring in ideas if you like. So one of the ideas is to say we learn a lot of new stuff here, interesting things. You might want to try it out, but you might want to have it in a setting with other people. So we're thinking about having some kind of training sessions in addition. So not only presenting the models or so. If it's something you can think of, we have apero afterwards, just come to me, talk with me. We have a lot of people with highly talented people here in the room, people with experience with children and teaching, people with startup experience, working with startups, building stuff. So I think it's a really cool community of highly skilled people. And we could profit much more if we share that kind of how to build models, basically. So starting today, as I said, we have two things I have to announce as well. We have two conferences next year. So Sophie unfortunately cannot make it today, Sophie Hundertmark. We have AI in marketing as a meetup group as well. She's running that group, so we have AI in marketing conference. I'm going to moderate a panel there. But that's more marketing side, it's not so much for building, it's not the tech side really. And we have a second conference next year, which is the campaigning summit, where I will be talking about how to use artificial intelligence in campaigning, business campaigning, so in political campaigning. How will strategic management change with those kind of information? I think it's going to be awesome. So coming back to what we're doing here. No, before I show the slide, a short story. If you ever thought about it's hard to make money with what you're doing, building GAN models, I can say, no, it's not true. Yeah. The last one who really made money with it was a group in Paris building some artwork, which actually achieved $400,000. Yeah, for some kind of GAN simulation. This one again, actually, it looks like this. Oh, come on. Oh, further. Don't make it too exciting for everyone. Yeah. Okay. Do you think this is art? What is it? It is art?
Looks good.
It looks good. It looks good. It's not really a portrait. It's a portrait of portraits. So it's millions of portraits in one portrait. The interesting thing is, and the challenging thing is, can machines produce art? Hi, welcome. So this one was just like thought-provoking for me. I know that we started to test GANs as well when we started with the Google project this year, and I was amazed by what kind of creativity comes out of that kind of mathematical modeling actually. Can it be changing the art market somehow? And as you might have seen, I proposed to have AI in music in January, so talking about the impact on the music industry. Can we, what's a copyright? Yeah, if a machine produces something, who owns the copyright? It's a mixture between thousands of artworks, it's a mixture between thousands of music pieces. What does it really mean? So there's some interesting questions combined with that kind of technology. I think there's a lot to discuss here. So, what's the basic idea behind the generative adversarial networks? It's quite simple. For me, it took some time to understand the business impact of it. It looks more like fun work. Yeah? Say, you would like to build a copy of something, but it should not be the same thing you copy. It should be somehow slightly different. So the basic idea is to use a generator, which means building something just out of spontaneous figures, numbers, and comparing it with a real picture. So the discriminator actually has the role to check if that the fake product from the generator is somehow true. Is it fake or is it true? So it's an iterative process where the model is just iterating until it looks pretty much like real-world pictures. We see some examples afterwards. I had some hard time to figure out what's the sense of it. It's just like, hey, you can copy things, yeah? Do one file into the next file. Why should we produce something like that? But if you look at the problems we have, like, hey, sometimes I was thinking about taking the Swiss politicians, building classes for Swiss politicians, so each time I see a photo of one, it gets recognized. But how do you train it? Yeah, for many, there are a lack of pictures of images. So what can you do to just close the gap of having not enough training material? So one way would be just to fake it, yeah, to produce images of someone from different angles, but not real, because you don't have the material. That's one way to solve it. Another thing is training data in the sense of, say, e-commerce data. You're going to build up a website. You have some small amount of data of how people walk through a website. GANs can be used to produce similar data, not the same, but similar data, in the sense you can start simulating behavior, fraud data in the finance industry. So that's the business, from a business perspective, quite interesting. I was amazed by Gladiator, the one, you know, the movie film, so I know the scenes, that was huge. Now think of a stadium like the Colosseum, not filled by real people or just post-production filled people by a huge amount of people doing the coding, the 3D modeling of people, just by using GANs as well. So the idea in that context means build similar images, but not the same of real people, and put it somewhere. So in all places where you need a lot of people, a lot of actors, avatars, you just can fake it using that model. That's interesting. It would save a lot of money. And as you can see, I mean, that's comic, yeah? But if you look at real people, you can see it's just amazing. It's just not a person, but it looks like a person. It's actually someone you could actually meet outside on the street. That saves tons of money, yeah? You don't have to pay someone for being on the scene. We don't need them anymore because we fake them. What else? As always, I will put up the slides for you to download. So as you can see from this, how the slide is constructed, there's a link to the model. Sometimes it's a GitHub repository, so you can actually check the model. Sometimes it's the AVIX document explaining the research behind it. So you can always just get deeper into the models itself. This one was interesting because it just only takes the pose of a person. So the model was trained to understand the pose of a person and to use it in a different context. I mean, if you have at least a little bit understanding of how animals look like, yeah, you probably would recognize that the zebras, the horses are zebras, yeah, and how the body is built. But the funny thing is that you can actually make horses into zebras and the other vice versa. So just transferring a key core component of one thing into another thing to make it completely different. And that's static images. Now think of doing that in a video. That's fun for those in the e-commerce business. Yeah, let's say we have a lot of tons of images of celebrities. That's the basic idea here. Anyway, so and people are just hungry to look like someone we know. This model helps you to understand what kind of clothing they wear. You just put the clothes on without unclothing them. Yeah. So it's just like what kind of trousers do we wear? What kind of jackets do we have? That's a thing I personally like very much. It was just two years ago when we moved from one to another place. I found all the old photos from me. And they're just, the real old photos, not done digitally. And they're just like they're getting blurry. Yeah. losing the strength of the picture. And this kind of model is, from the business perspective, interesting because I think there's a lot of money in there. If you have a kind of model to improve the quality of the image. Yeah.
NVIDIA is putting this stuff into the GPUs.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to be part of it.
Yeah,
so
just from the beginning.
Texture basically improvement, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's awesome. If you look at the quality improvements you have from, that's a model comparison, as you can see here. So what the different models actually do regarding the quality of images. That's quite interesting. That's one thing we tested in the beginning. Do you know any one of those people in the photo yet? Have you ever seen them? No, they're not existing. Yeah. The fun is when the GAN model started, we started with this one here. So the I think 16 to 16 pixels, which is not really beautiful, and you can't imagine it's something getting out there out of that model. But we improved it to 1024 pixels to 1024. It was an NVIDIA research group. So that's high quality. And both people look pretty real, doesn't it? In the original title you've probably seen when I was announcing the meetup, I mentioned the fake images and the Instagram marketing stuff which is happening right now. So companies have discovered that kind of creating persons, unreal persons, for Instagram campaigns. So they created perfect persons so people find likable, and that's just not a real person. They gave it a character. Thinking about using GANs for modeling audio as well, or movement, you can even give them a real habit. Let the people move around, let the people talk, give them a voice, the best voice ever, just because people like it. So the interesting thing is the quality improvement. So it's just a matter of time. The things you probably see in a couple of minutes are just getting better and better and better to an amazing extent. I really think it's creating a whole new world. So this is all the fun stuff. Imagine you're in the movie industry and you have to create an environment out of blue. With a real set, it should look real somehow. So the model says basically starts with a semantic map, which is the upper picture here. So we're just framing the places. This is a platform where people walk on. This is a street. This is a car. This is a tree. And the model uses that kind of semantic web and puts a texture on it. So it looks like a real world. Yeah? It looks like a real street. There's some, I mean, that looks not like something you would really like to drive on, yeah? It's just waveform of the street. But that's a matter of time, those things will improve. I think it's just a matter of time. This is just an unreal scene. That's, neither the cars exist at the moment, neither the street or the trees or so. It's just fake. You might remember that I told you that I worked for the publishing industry, so I worked for Süddeutscher Verlag for some time. And one of the things I found quite interesting when I was starting experimenting with AI was, if it is possible, does anyone blog from you? Anyone's blogger here? Do we have bloggers? No? No bloggers? Okay. Great. Okay, if you're a blogger, you have one problem. You have to add images to your text. Without the images, it's text. Yeah, people are bored by text. So we would like to have something visually appealing. So the idea was to, hey, can we create something which takes the text and creates the image on the fly? I mean, let's think how much an image costs. You're not a blogger. I can tell you that's a lot of money. You sometimes pay euros, sometimes pays 150 to 300, 400 euros just for the copyright. But now imagine a model which understands what you have been writing and knows the best way how to put a visual image in those kind of blocks. It will revolutionize the whole industry. It's the end of the copyright, as we know. It's a machine which we on WordPress probably, yeah, so everyone can use it. It would drive me crazy, yeah. So this is what he explained here. So one of the first models I saw was from Microsoft, actually. So it was like typing something like a yellow bird sitting on a leaf, no, what was it, branch, a branch, and waiting for something. So the model took the text, created a bird, a yellow bird, sitting on a branch, just the way it was printed text. I mean, that's nuts, isn't it? So this is the kind of things you can do with GANs as well. The GitHub code on the right side. Test it. And we can't stop imagining other ways to work with that kind of mathematical models. I was thinking about having a news anchor simulated. So using some kind of 3D model of a person, putting a texture on it, making it real with that 1024 high quality images, and putting some kind of audio on top of it. So it sounds like a real anchor, it works like a real anchor, it has news, and it looks like, hey, that's a TV studio. This is something going in that same direction. So is it possible to simulate a different angle perspective on an image without the person actually changing the position? Imagine the training data problem again, as I mentioned in the beginning. We usually don't have much images for people if you want to train classes for that kind of persons to be recognized somehow. That's one way to do it. If you simulate different perspective, having just one picture of a person. Hi, welcome. Having just one picture and nothing else. That could be a way to just reproduce training data again from massive angles. And you know, from the film industry, changing the light, for example. So making it darker, it's a different room, making it now a street view of it. It's just like style transfer, which is another model, yeah, using the style transfer of a winter scene, or for you have a summer picture. Snow all around here. It's possible. What happens if part of your images are missing? Let the model imagine what's missing. Let the model fill in the holes. I like that. Again, my photos in the past, I have many photos missing parts of it. And that would be just a beautiful way probably to increase the quality. The partner gets lost somehow, yeah?
By the way, this is exactly what the visual cortex of human does.
Yeah.
This is how we see.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why there are so many false testimonies of witnesses, because your brain actually increases the
Yeah.
So that's
I have a different story. Exactly, yeah, that's right. So paperwork, slides, everything there. So we can continue playing with all that. So models are able to figure out specific characteristics of the person, like the hair, skin color, the eye structure, where the nose and the eyes are placed. And we can just vary that. So you can say, person with different hair, is it possible to create? Yeah, it's possible. This model, the GAN, is actually just built for that purpose, to take parts or style elements of those characteristics and to place it with other variations of it. That's the fun part, maybe not only for the women, yeah? If you would like to create new clothes, new accessoires, that's one way to put your preferred texture on something else. Why not? See how it looks like. Maybe we have some 3D printing, which just print it for me. Why not? That's a movie. Hold on a second. I can sign it. So far we have been talking about images, static images. Now, these researchers did a test. They said we have a sequence of the video. Can we build a